Sasha Rose here, founder of Venus Wisdom, and I am showing up and sharing about this moment in the Venus cycle. We're coming into a really powerful time in the 19-month cycle. And I want to put the word out for those of you that are called to sync with this moment, to align with this moment, to contemplate the journey. And if you don't know me, I am a visionary astrologer. I specialize in syncing with the Venus cycle as our personal heroine's journey. What does that mean? It means that I'm looking at all of what's happening in the sky, all of the astrology, in the spirit of a heroine's journey. And the container of that is the 19-month cycle that starts when Venus meets the sun closest to the earth, and then ends when Venus meets the sun closest to the earth again 19 months later. And always retrograde when that happens. Always closest to the earth is retrograde. So I'm working with the astronomy, the living sky, and I'm working with the astrology. So when I say sync with Venus, what that means is being aware of how the astrology that's happening is contained within our own personal journey of birth, death, and rebirth, or life, trials and tribulations, initiation, and rebirth. This is the feminine nature of cycling. And these cycles actually repeat and they spiral. So every 8 years, Venus and the sun will meet in the beginning of that 19-month cycle in the same sign. And then that degree will change a little bit each time they meet. And then 8 years later, they'll meet again. And 8 years later, they'll meet again. And so this is a very potent way to begin to see how our lives and the themes of our lives actually connect with these cycles. And so I could sit here and I could tell you so many stories of what happened in my life, what was the movement, what was the major theme, and how that connects to the theme of what's happening with Venus in the sky. So, for example, currently we're in a Venus in Leo cycle, and that began on August 13th of 2023. And so what is Leo? You know, when we think about Venus and the sun meeting in Leo, Leo is the energy of sacred self-centeredness, shining from center, self-expression, playfulness. This is the creative child who's on that stage just singing her song, belting it out, and loving just the feeling of being at center and being seen. It's a younger energy because it's earlier in the zodiacal journey. And so there is this shadow tendency to be maybe too self-absorbed or too self-conscious or too tapped into image, because this is the energy of the star, the movie star, the star shining. And since social media has really come on into our lives, there's this new kind of possibility. Anyone can be a star. You know, you can get TikTok famous. And so this is very much the energy of Leo, that being on, being seen, being a star. And of course, Leo connects to our main star, the sun. So the energy of Leo connects with the sun. So that gives you a sense of the warmth, the radiance, the importance. The sun is the center of our sky story. So what does Venus and the sun coming together mean? So Venus represents in astrology our feminine nature. And our feminine nature is simply our inner world of sensations, feelings, values, emotions. You know, when we get into the moon territory, Venus is more our feelings and the moon is more our history and our patterns and our emotions, but they really work together. Hey, nice to see you here. Yeah. So this is important for everyone, and especially important for women who are on the path of heart. And we have a unique experience being women in this culture. And what does it mean to be feminine looks so many different ways. And we have all of this pressure to have that look a certain way. This is feminine. This is beautiful. You know, we're fed that back to us from the media from the time we're very, very young. When I was growing up, it was magazines, and now it's everything on social media. Oh my goodness, so much more pressure to conform who we are to something out there. So, what we do when we tune into our personal Venus is we really understand the qualities that connect with our feminine nature. For some, that's going to be fiery, for some, watery, for some, earthy, for some, airy. We have all of these different ways of being in that inner world, the way that we connect, the way that we love, the way that we give and receive in intimacy is our Venus, regardless of whether you're a man or a woman. And we all have that need to have a connection with the inner. All transformational work starts within. This is the heroine's journey. So, part of this is understanding our own design and our own nature, and how do we truly, truly want to move from our heart and express our heart and know what we love, not what someone's putting on us, not what our family told us, but our own innate sense of ourselves. How do we strengthen that? And this is how we discover our true beauty, because when we're showing up as exactly who we are, authentically and genuinely, we are beautiful. This is our inner beauty shining. So I love the Venus astrology because it really shows us all of this, not just the sign, but also these other dimensions of her that we find when we start to understand her cycle. Cycling is feminine, it spirals, it repeats, and this is very much a part of our feminine bodies. When we are in our fertile years, we have that monthly cycle where we're shedding and we're releasing and we're cleansing, we're purifying with our blood, and then we're starting anew and becoming ready for a new cycle, ready for a new possibility. So, if you are in your fertility years, you may be learning about how to work with the moon in that way every month. The moon really shows us what's happening in a month. And then every month, Venus and the moon actually meet together as well. And this gives our feminine history, our feminine lineage, our feminine patterns, that we hold with our moon sign, this opportunity to come into contact with this other part of us, that is our feminine nature. So, part of syncing with Venus is to know when those Venus and moon meetups are every month, because those are the two feminine reflections coming into relationship. So, I don't know if I can share screen with this kind of thing. Oh, I can. Okay, I'm going to try. Let's see if I can do this. I have never done a share screen from. Maybe not. I will try. So I've made a map for those particular gates, or I call them new Venus portals, so that those that want to sync can know to pay attention. A lot of what that means to sync is to pay attention to these certain cosmic happenings, and to go out and be under the sky and put your bare feet on the earth and slow down inside and take some intentional breaths and be with the nature wherever you are. And notice, because synchronicities will start to show up. That word synchronicity, synchronicity, comes from this paying attention, and paying attention from our body senses, from our just the way that we have our attention that gets connected to, oh, I'm thinking of this person, and then, oh, they're showing up and I'm seeing them. So all of this happens through paying attention and listening. So our next new Venus portal is coming up right on January 3rd. And it's always after the new moon and the evening sky. That's how it happens. So we're having a new moon coming up, and then we will have our new Venus portal on January 3rd. And so if you want to sync, if you want to just try this, you can go out and you can see Venus in the evening sky. She's very high and she's very bright, and you can just feel her, feel yourself in the presence of Venus in the sky. And on the 3rd, the little crescent moon will be there. The very first crescent moon will be there. And so you can begin to just notice, what does that evoke in you? It's incredibly beautiful. If you look at a lot of ancient art and flags, there's Venus and the star and the moon, that little crescent moon. And so that's the first sighting of the new moon, which in some indigenous traditions, that's considered the new moon. They don't count the new moon when we can't see anything. They count the new moon with that first visibility. And so it's very interesting that that first visibility is with Venus in the evening sky. And so I'm just trying to figure out where the new moon is coming up here. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Doing my app here as I'm talking to you. Okay, so December 30th, we're going to have the sun and the moon coming together in Capricorn in that initiating earth sign, 9 degrees, which is interesting because so much has gone down in Capricorn in the last 16 years. We've had Pluto moving through Capricorn. So there's been a lot of transformation wherever that shows up in your chart, in your life, wherever that Capricorn energy is. So we always have the template of our own chart, our own map, and then we have what's moving through in the sky. And some of you may be really familiar with finding, where does that sky event fit into my chart? And that's something that I'll be teaching more about. If you're interested in that, please let me know in the comments. I'm just going to start to go live and share and just see what lands, see what inspires, see what people are wanting, see what happens. This is a total experiment. So December 30th is obviously the final new moon of our year. And then we have just a few days later, 5 days later, on the 3rd, we have Venus coming together with the moon in the evening sky. And so you can go out and you can see that. And the energies of that are going to be different, and you can begin to feel the difference, which is the best way. In my opinion, that's the best way to learn, is to feel the difference and feel into that. Oh, hey, God. We've got dogs barking.